Hello and welcome to A Few Minutes With. Today I'm talking to Shannon Stevens, partner and creative director of Hayworth and Finch in Wilmington, Delaware, and also runs his own advertising agency, Shiny. Shannon's going to talk to us about Hayworth and Finch, which opened a year ago in Wilmington. It's a fun restaurant, and he designed it to bring the fun alive. Shannon, thank you so much for talking to me. Why did you want to bring fun into this fabulous restaurant?
I think, well, it all sort of is my partners and I have created another sort of restaurant chain, 5 restaurants, and it was all sort of around a character and sort of this aspect of fun, this sort of, notion that we're not too serious. We're serious about the food, but we wanted the not only the brand itself, but the style of the restaurant to focus in and give someone an understanding that, it's bright, it's fresh, it's clean, with that wink and nod to the traditional Parisian cafe, so that the customers get a look into the menu and the approach without having to taste anything. And we'll talk more potentially about the other reasons why we went this way with the brand. But knowing that we're really serious about the food, but we're not serious about we don't take ourselves too seriously was really important. But something that someone could have sort of a high level experience without having to have a waiter come and wait on them, because we sort of found with 2020 with COVID that we were positioned pretty well with a sort of counter service, build your own, aspect from our other restaurants, and that there wasn't really a need to have table service.
And Shannon, you created quite the detailed and fun backstory for the restaurant. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Um, so first off, the other restaurant we created, and we felt it sort of needed to extend into this, was to sort of have a soul. The place had to have a soul. And so we were thinking about like, oh, well, we have a single character for our other restaurant, and maybe we would have this sort of pair that played off of each other. And so we started talking about these two characters and what they could be, and then we started putting out some names, and Hayworth and Finch came up. And I'm a sucker for a great ampersand. You can kind of see the hat right there. And so from that, we built a story around the characters. And those characters sort of embrace, they invite you to embrace the beauty of unlikely friendships. And that's the sort of symbolism, but that's also what the food is about. And so, like Basil Finchley, he's this well-rounded bear that comes from a comfortable upbringing. He's the kind of guy that you would want to have him give the toast at your wedding. And then there's the opposite, which is Hayworth is this high-strung, wiry, scrappy bird. He's bold and he's eccentric, and possibly a few brushes with the law. And so those two coming together is bringing you an experience unlike you've sort of had before, with the foundations of great French food.
And how did you incorporate that such fun element of the backstory into your design, Shannon?
Well, so the logo has it. Um, it's Hayworth and Finch, and then it has, Basil Finchley, who's the bear, who's this likable, bow-tied, very sort of prim and proper guy, with, Finch, which is on top, Hayworth, who's on top, who is, it's funny because you think Finch is the bird, but it's not. And he's on his head. And, this sort of playing off of those two, it's replicated throughout the restaurant. You'll find little bears, you'll have, find little birds. And then, there's a really good graphical representation of them and all the things that go into sort of the food and the thinking in the bathroom, which is kind of fun.
Well, Shannon, it's good to finish every story by talking about bathrooms. Tell me how you continued your branding story and brought the fun into the bathrooms at Hayworth and Finch.
Yeah, so at the other restaurants that we have, which are called El Diablo burritos. It's all mid-century inspired. I actually, I'm in a mid-century building. I'm very heavily influenced by that. I created wallpaper for the main room and every restroom, whether it was at the time we were, men and women at the time, separate restrooms, we had different wallpaper sort of representing that. And so when we were building this, we were like, okay, we definitely want something that's a custom wallpaper. So I designed this checkerboard pattern of the different colors along with Hayworth and Finch, and then accents or other illustrations of culinary tools and high society top hat and things like that to sort of play off of each other. But we knew that people like to take pictures of themselves in the bathroom, which is whether it's at home or a restaurant. And so we thought, let's try to make this as Instagrammable as possible.